Welcome to this live stream from First Unitarian Church of Des Moines. Our mission is to love radically, grow ethically and spiritually, and serve justly. We invite you to visit our website at www.ucdsm.org. It's a great way to explore all that our church has to offer, from adult programs, to religious education, to social justice work, and more. But the best way to know us is to visit on a Sunday. We'd love to get to know you over a cup of coffee after the service. Speaking of which, today's service will begin shortly. So now we'll take you inside.
Hear these words from Reverend Sherry Woodbury. Welcome who come in friendship, who long for genuine community. May you be graciously received here as your authentic self. Welcome who come in curiosity, full of questions, I hope, or simply just open to them. May you embrace wonder and encounter new delights.
Welcome who come heavy with fatigue, weary from the troubles of the world or the troubles of your life. May you rest and be filled in this sacred space. Welcome who come with joy for flowing rivers and gentle breeze, for changing skies and great trees. May the grace of the world leave a lasting imprint in you.
Welcome who come with thanks for the altruism of the earth and the gift of human care. May your grateful hearts overflow and bless those around you. Come, let us celebrate together this wondrous life. Please join me in the chalice lighting words from Julianne Lepp in your order of service. We seek our place in the world and the answers to our heart's deep questions. As we seek, may our hearts be open to the unexpected answers. May the light of our chalice remind us that this is a community of warmth, of wisdom, and welcoming of multiple truths. And now let us pass the peace, and if you would prefer a little personal space, simply remain seated and your neighbors will take the cue and leave you in peace. So.
I'm loving the stole. It's marvelous. It's from where? Really? That's amazing. I love it. Please remain standing as you are willing and able for our opening hymn number 354 in your green book. It's not on? Can you hear me now? Please remain standing as you are willing and able for our opening hymn number 354 in your gray hymnal, We Laugh, We Cry.
Good morning. I'm Diane Ford, she, her, hers, and I'm your celebrant this morning. We welcome all people who welcome all people. We welcome all genders, ethnicities, bodies, and stories. Whatever you are carrying with you, whatever you long to set down or pick up today, may you find here the love, support, and encouragement you seek. If this is your first time here, welcome. And if you like, you can raise your hand so that we can see you and greet you. Anybody? Yay! We see you. And now please take this moment to pass any question cards you have to the outside of the aisles. Are we still doing that, or we have done that? Okay. I think they took them away, so, okay. We'll work on that. And now let us deepen our awareness of this place and season. Our First Unitarian Church is located on land that has been home to humans for 12,000 years, starting with people of the woodland culture and later the Iowa, Sauk, and Meskwaki. Centering ourselves in our place in the cosmos, the moon is waning gibbous, and it was so beautiful several days ago. As a pluralistic tradition, we take this moment to honor special days in our interfaith web of existence. Wednesday was Tisha B'Av, an annual day of fasting and mourning in the Jewish calendar. And on Friday, Catholics celebrated the Feast of the Assumption of Mary into heaven.
Good morning. I'm the Reverend Steve Seek, and I'm honored to serve as your minister. As Unitarian Universalists, we don't have a statement of belief or creed that we all must adopt. Instead, our community is held together in love by covenant. This means affirming and reaffirming our commitment to one another. This means that we try to put love at the center of our actions. So please join with me now in speaking the covenant from our Unitarian Universalist Association bylaws. We covenant to support and assist one another in our ministries. We draw from our heritages of freedom, reason, hope, and courage, building on the foundation of love. Love is the power that holds us together and is at the center of our shared values. We are accountable to one another for doing the work of living our shared values through the spiritual discipline of love. Thank you. I thought I cut that. Independence, pluralism, justice, transparency, generosity, and equity. Good job.
Our first reading is Some Questions You Might Ask by Mary Oliver. Is the soul solid like iron, or is it tender and breakable like the wings of a moth in the beak of the owl? Who has it and who doesn't? I keep looking around me. The face of the moose is as sad as the face of Jesus. The swan opens her white wings slowly. In the fall, the black bear carries leaves into the darkness. One question leads to another. Does it have a shape, like an iceberg? Like the eye of a hummingbird? Does it have one lung, like the snake and the scallop? Why should I have it and not the anteater who loves her children? Why should I have it and not the camel? Come to think of it, what about the maple trees? What about the blue iris? What about all the little stones sitting alone in the moonlight? What about roses and lemons and their shining leaves? What about the grass? And now we're going to dive into your questions for Reverend Seek. So, this is a very apt question. How do you want us to call or name you, and what is your reason for this? And this is not a question about your pronouns.
Oh, okay. Is this on? Is this okay? I'm totally fine with Steve or Reverend Steve. Some of us feel like for me, for example, if I had a teacher that was like, oh, you could just call me Dan, I'd kept calling them professor because I needed that sort of formal relationship. So I introduced myself as Reverend Steve, but some of us came from having to call someone Reverend and have very gladly left that space.
Yeah.
So Steve is also fine.
Yeah. Well, I take my Reverend Seek back that I just said.
It's fine.
I like Steve.
Okay, whatever you're comfortable.
Okay.
Thanks for asking.
The second one is, do you have a favorite genre of music?
No. And I think that I've never heard Russian Orthodox choral music that I didn't like.
Oh.
Or Irish session music that I didn't like.
My tribal music.
Actually, I could choose, I guess I don't have a favorite.
Okay. This is a little heavier. What thinkers, philosophers have most informed your way of being? Ooh.
We only have 1 hour left? Okay. I think that is a good question.
That's a good question.
I was formed ethically and spiritually in social justice, Vatican II Catholicism. So St. Francis, Aquinas, and just the Gospels themselves. Less Paul, more the four Gospel writers. I found Aristotle to be very satisfying to read, like the Nicomachean Ethics and the pursuit of virtue and good living. I found very, very liberating to read, particularly Thich Nhat Hanh's interpretations of the Pali Canon in Buddhism, and then Pema Chodron after I'd found Thich Nhat Hanh. It sort of leads you into a beautiful tree of thinkers. And now I'm in a Jack Kornfield version of that tree in my readings right now. Thomas Merton. We could keep going. We'll stop there.
Thank you. And this is a very important one. Okay. What's the longest distance you've ever run?
Just running, no other parts of the triathlon. 26.2 miles, and then you just stop. And that's good. That's enough, right? That's enough. Phidippides, who ran from Marathon to Athens, gave the news about the end of the battle and then died. And I felt like that's a good stopping point for running. So, okay.
That's what I have for now.
Okay, great. Thank you. All right. I think we do a hymn now.
Are those all the questions we're doing?
For that moment. There are more.
Then please rise in body or spirit as you are willing for hymn number 338, I Seek the Spirit of a Child. I seek the spirit of the child who meets life naturally, the child who sings the world alive and greets the morning sun with glee. Children are really on the world. May I see joys a gift to our heart. I see the freedom of a child who loves instinctively, who lights our day with just a smile and shines the light on all we see. Children are real beyond all fears. May I see hope's a gift to our tears. I seek the wonder of a child who sees delightfully. Now clowns in cloud, now golden sound, imaginations true and free. Children are real beyond all eyes. May I see faith's a gift to our eyes.
Today's story is The Curious Why by Angela DiTerlizzi. There are days you are bored. You're finished, you're through. There's no more to explore, to see, think, or do.
Nothing to ponder? Nothing to know?
You've lost your spark, that get up and go.
You've stared at the screen. You've stared at the wall. You've stared into space and gone nowhere at all.
You don't want to run. Your toys aren't much fun.
You don't even want to go play with someone.
So you sit inside, cranky and tired, feeling frustrated, so uninspired.
And you are sure you'll never find anything new.
You just lie around. That's what you'll do.
But wait, what's that? There, outside your door. It's a new friend you've not met before.
Someone who won't let the world pass you by. Introducing
The Curious Why.
I'm here to help you see. You're only bored if you choose to be. There's so much more to be found if you wonder and wander and look all around.
A knowledge collector.
Tell me more, teacher.
A got-to-know creature.
If you spot something curious, I'll start asking how, what, where, when.
Like?
How does this glow? What makes this grow? Where in the world did the dinosaurs go?
And when were the first T-Rex fossils found?
And how deep were they in the ground?
All these questions get your gears turning.
Let's find the answers. It's time to get learning.
Welcome to a place where why always looks. The library filled with books.
Check out the covers, dive into the stacks, flip through the pages, and find all the facts.
Voyage through time to life long before us.
Whoa, over there, a Brachiosaurus!
And here's something else you discover.
Wise made you a natural history lover.
And now you're crafting and drawing and making cool things with feathers and scales and claws, and spikes and wings.
You've got a new interest. Boredom's been busted. Because with the why, your outlook's adjusted.
And the Curious Why has a question for you.
What are more things that you wish you knew?
Do you want to know how crayons are made?
How banjos are played, or why rainbows fade?
Do you like gazing at planets and stars?
Team up with me, and we'll journey to Mars!
Or perhaps there's a new food you'd like to make.
We could bake an upside-down cake.
How does a bee buzz? What makes a bee sting?
You can ask why about everything.
And with all these questions and answers, you'll find.
The curious why has opened your mind.
And if your friends need their sparks ignited,
You and the why can get them excited.
because you've got all this knowledge to share.
You're a T-Rex expert extraordinaire.
When you keep asking, searching, finding, walking paths unknown and winding,
Digging deeper, stargazing, you'll see that all of that is amazing.
now there's no limit to how far you'll go, how much you'll learn, or how much you'll know.
You'll never be bored unless you try when you open your door
To
to
the
the curious
curious
why.
It's beautiful, thank you. Our second reading is the Ghazal 838 by the Sufi mystic Rumi. If you pass your night and merge it with dawn for the sake of heart, what do you think will happen? If the entire world is covered with blossoms you have labored to plant, what do you think will happen? If the elixir of life that has been hidden in the dark fills the desert and towns, what do you think will happen? If because of your generosity and love, a few humans find their lives, what do you think will happen? If you pour an entire jar filled with joyous wine on the head of those already drunk, what do you think will happen? Go, my friend, bestow your love even on your enemies. If you touch their hearts, what do you think will happen? Now we'll take some more questions for you. We're going to start a little bit easy and then go deep, okay? Do you feel at home yet?
Thank you. I'm going to answer that and then say something. Yes, I'm starting to find my way. I'm starting to figure out the difference in price between Hy-Vee and Fairway and all of those. And I'm getting the sense that floor is just always under construction.
Yes.
I'm not.
It is.
Let's try that again. Yes, I'm starting to feel at home. Thank you, Bill. I appreciate the signal. Yes, I've discovered the grocery stores I like, that floor is always under construction, that humidity here is a very real factor. And I want to just briefly say, why are we doing a question service? 10% of it is getting to know the new minister, and 90% of it is the Unitarian Universalist exercise of wondering collectively. Right? We encourage one another in our growth. And so this is a practice where whatever the question is, ask yourself the same answer. Unless you've been in Des Moines for 80 years, in which case, yes, you're feeling at home now.
Okay. What do you mean by spiritual?
Well, Thich Nhat Hanh would say that washing the dishes can be a deeply spiritual experience of just being fully present in the washing of the dishes and not yelling at the coworker that you're mad at from 2 weeks ago. So I think it is an intention more than it is a certain kind of content. So there are people who are very spiritual in fill-in-the-blank thing that you would consider mundane, like paying the bills. And there are people that are very intentional about saying, I'm now present in this moment. And there are people who are making to-do lists about their day and stuck in a rumination about something during a wedding, right? So I think that for me, spiritual is a frame of mind. It's a frame of mind about where am I in this moment and what am I bringing to this moment? Am I present to all that is in this moment? But that's a good question for you to ponder as well. Because spiritual is a word that some people have like an allergic reaction to, right? Because it only meant a very, very narrow version of the word. I like the word numinous.
This is a question that I expect most of us have, and it dovetails with another question that I'll sort of put together with this. How do we remember to support each other instead of turning on each other in challenging times? And the add-on is to this, someone asked a question about how to deal with close relatives who were of a different bent, and it was very painful. So how do we support each other during these challenging times?
The hardest thing about being a Unitarian Universalist is our commitment to see the inherent worth and dignity of everyone. You can probably bring to your mind's eye any number of politicians right now that you're struggling to see their worth and their spark of divinity, their elements of cosmic star stuff that make them part of this web. It is the most infuriating of our claims. It would be So much easier to have good people and bad people. And I miss that about childhood. I do. I miss good guys and bad guys. Superman was objectively good and Lex Luthor was objectively bad. Rambo was a hero and whoever he was blowing up deserved it. He blew up a lot of people. And I miss that clarity. I do think there are objectively immoral behaviors. And there are people that string together a whole lot of immoral behaviors. And I grieve that they have lost their sense of I am made of star stuff, that I have worth and dignity that is just there from the beginning. There's a trauma behind people who act in bad faith. There's a trauma behind the wounding that people do to one another. And that doesn't mean that I have to take it, right? If that family member is abusive, part of loving yourself, this is a deep one, y'all. Part of loving yourself is knowing your healthy boundaries for this is just abuse, and I need to be away from this. But I just want to name, as I will continue to name, that claim that every one of us has inherent worth, that we are all woven together, is the most difficult. What was the first part of the question?
It was.
I got a little afield of it.
How do we remember to support each other instead of turning away
Yes.
from each other?
So, yes, thank you. We're in a moment nationally that my grandchildren will study about.
Yeah.
And I think you've clocked that. And it follows a previous a pandemic that's not really done, but a pandemic that our grandkids will study.
Yeah.
Right? I studied the pandemic that I lost my great-grandfather to, right? And now my grandchildren will study the pandemic that we clawed our way through and lost many loved ones to, and then came into this national moment that will be studied, right? You're not thinking, you're not overreacting when you stress about what's going on in the world right now. And then more locally, a moment that I was going to look back on and go, that was rough. That was a rough patch we were in there. In terms of moral behavior, right? In terms of stringing together immoral actions one after another. And that produces a kind of anxiety. It produces a kind of baseline anxiety. It produces a higher blood pressure response to everything. I wouldn't call it clinically a kind of a trauma for everyone, but for some people who are very targeted, sure, it is absolutely a trauma. And so we become defensive. And our brains, which have kept us, right, which have developed over hundreds of thousands of years to make sure primary objective, don't die. Right? All the spiritual, all the numinous, all the love is at the foundation of our things requires safety. You can't be seeing the inherent worth and beauty in another person when you think you are under attack. And we are often at our worst when we are at our most defensive. When we're cornered, metaphorically or physically, right, we will do just about anything. And so I think first, just naming, I'm not being gaslit here. This is actually a difficult moment that I'm in as a human being, right? This is hard. And then going, what do I need in this? And the antidote to authoritarianism is pluralism. The antidote to that isolation is community. The antidote to that sort of overwhelm is the support of one another in a place that we covenant to just bring as much love as we can. Now, because we're a group of people, we're going to people. We are going to people. And to think that the ways that we break covenant with one another is specific to Des Moines or to this congregation is a myth. Every group of people in this city, every group of people in space and time, across religions or not religions, right? Peoples. We talk about one another, we triangulate, we start fights, we do all of these things because at different moments we are carrying our own traumas, we're feeling unsafe, and that's the way we want to respond. That's the way we're taught to respond. That's the way we think we need to respond. And that's why we need a space like this to, as James Luther Adams says, practice what it means to be a human. To practice what it means to be human, even for that hour. And when enough of us start to feel safe enough, we can have a very different response when someone comes in with their unsafe reactions, right? And we can say, you feel unsafe right now. You are upset right now. How can we help you? Instead of going, we're fighting now? Okay, right? And we do this a lot of ways. One of the things with technology is it makes our ability to fight complex. Now, instead of just walking over and punching Og because he took your stick, right? Now we can send 40 emails, right? We can start fights all kinds of ways now. But when enough of us start to covenant to be grounded and loving and, oh, if I get another email from you, I'm going to lose it. But I see your worth, and I'm going to take 5 breaths, and I'm going to come back to this in love. Then we can bring one another back. Because all of us, including me, especially me, are going to at some point say a thing we shouldn't have said, or do a thing we shouldn't have done, or fail to say or do a thing we ought to have done or said. And that's when we need one another to say, I love you too much to fight like this. What's another way around this? That's our relational covenant, right? I don't have to say it, you already wrote it, and it's beautiful. I feel like we could work on that as like an ongoing sermon for the rest of our lives, and it would be worth it. It's a human problem, I think.
Thank you. How would you incorporate humanist ideas into the life of the church?
Yes, I think first of all, they are in it.
Yeah.
So I don't want to say that they're not in it. Let's define what we mean by humanism so that we're making the same claims. So Curtis Reese, for example, was a Unitarian minister who I believe served here. Is that right? Thank you. And signed a signer of the Humanist Manifesto of 1933. Is that right? 1930-something. And humanism broadly claims that we do not need to enter into conversations about gods and deities and all of those other things, that we have within ourselves as humans the capacity to grow and love and learn, and that we can create ethical communities that orient ourselves toward the good work without getting into the gods. This is one of the things that I loved about Aristotle, because I knew at that point in my life I wasn't Catholic. But at that point I had a binary, Catholic or not Catholic. I didn't even know there were Protestants, right? And Aristotle offered me in the Nicomachean Ethics, here's a way to live the good life that isn't oriented on because God will smite you for your sins. And so these, or psychology or social sciences, all of these ways of looking at, are there better ways to be? Are there more ways to improve our human flourishing that don't have to call upon outside numinous forces that are beyond our sight and sound? Right? That's how I understand it today. I suspect 5 people will educate me afterward into deeper, and I welcome that. That's part of humanism, is I want to keep growing in that. So how can we incorporate that, right? That is part of who we are. It is not all of who we are. I see in this room people who identify as Christian, and I see in this room people who identify as Buddhist, right? And I see in this room wanderers and seekers and in lots of different spaces. So as I'm putting together the services, I'm putting together the readings, I'm saying, where would my voice be heard? Where would my way of making meaning be uplifted? Right. So in today's readings, for example, can I credit you for the readings? Is that okay? Diane selected 3 gorgeous readings for us to consider. 2 of them come from secular sources, right? From people that were not writing in a religious space, right? Rilke? Oh, I lost all my German R's there. Rilke writes in the Letters to a Young Poet, and Mary Oliver writes. Mary Oliver's like our humanist poet, right? Laureate. And then the Sufi mystic, Rumi. And so in the selecting of the readings, 2/3 of them were drawn toward without any sort of broad theological claim. And then we have meeting groups and we have things like that as well. Yeah. I'm not sure. Can you read the details of that question again?
Yes. How will you incorporate humanist ideas into the life of the church?
Into the life of the church.
Okay.
Well, I think we're going to have to work on that together, but I think it's there. Yeah. Very rarely do you hear me making like a theologically stitched sermon also. Do you have a light one to wrap up this session?
I do. Not that one, not that
Oh,
one.
can I also say this is a gift from the congregation at my ordination,
Yes.
so I wanted to wear it, and thank you.
Oh, yeah. This is pretty heavy, but I'm going to ask it anyway.
Great.
What's the best and worst hymn?
Pass. So the reason there's a what is the most UU thing, like bracket competition every year, right? And so typical entries are like a parking lot full of Priuses, or coexist bumper stickers, or In Spirit of Life has won like 15 out of 16 times, right? If you look at first of all, it's very singable, it fits within an octave, it moves by steps, it's very singable, and it's in a good range for most voices. But if you look at it and look at its theological claims, if you want to be numinist, it's there for you. If you want to be humanist, it's there for you, right? Like it covers all of our pluralist spaces exquisitely. What is the best hymn? I can't think of it outside of the service itself. I want to make sure that we know How Could Anyone a little bit more. I think that hymn, which we sang last week, is a very important compassion practice hymn, but not in like a Christmas Eve service. Like the hymn complements and speaks to the readings and the sermon. Right? It's all, you're trying to bake the same cake, so it's like, what is the best spice? And you're like, well, cardamom, but not in this food. Does that make sense? Yeah. What's the worst one? What's yours, Bruce?
I said watch it.
Yeah, what's your, what?
Oh, yes, me.
Okay. Instead of answering it, I'll tell you a story. There were two ministers at the congregation I was a music director at when I first started there, and one of the ministers turned to me and said, I had just finished playing a hymn, and she had said, do you know that's my least favorite hymn? And one time I was turning to another minister at a different congregation, and I was about to say, God, I hate this hymn. And that minister turned to me and said, I love this hymn. And she said, so that's when I learned to shut up. Because per last week's service, the one that you hate, and there's a couple that I like actually won't even play. Just nope. Someone else is weeping for.
Yeah. Okay.
What is the next thing on our order?
Joys and sorrows.
Joys and sorrows. Thank you for those good questions.
Remember how last time I wanted to stop going after the music, so then they put that in front of me? I'm Anna Davis-Evans, a pastoral care associate for your congregation. Sometimes big life changes come our way, joyous or stressful or anything in between, and it can be nice to have someone to listen as you share. You can always reach out to the pastoral care team, these lovely faces up here, by reaching out to any of us directly or by emailing us at pastoralcareteam@ucdsm.org should you like to talk over a life change. You can also request assistance or volunteer to provide it or submit a joy or sorrow on our Caring Community page on our website or again by speaking to one of us. We hold in this community all the joys and all the sorrows that come with this life. As poet Mary Oliver wrote, to live in this world, you must be able to do three things: to love what is mortal, to hold it against your bones, knowing your life depends on it, and when the time comes to let it go,
to let it go. On September 6th, there will be a grand celebration of life for Aaron Keller, who grew up in this church in Kansas City. We will hold a smaller memorial reception here at the church on the afternoon of Saturday, September 20th. Time and details are still being finalized. It is at 1 p.m., I am hearing, Saturday, September 20th, here at this church. Thank you. We continue to hold Aaron's father, Dwight, and her sister, Kara, in our hearts as they prepare for these acts of letting go. On Wednesday, August 13th, Barbara and Bruce Martin happily and gratefully observed their 60th wedding anniversary. They share, our fellow Unitarians have contributed much to our shared contentment. Thanks to you, our family, and so many others. Congratulations. And from Barb Klubel, we have this update about her husband, Jan Svek. We are ecstatic that a scan a couple of weeks ago showed no new tumors in Jan's lungs and that many others are unchanged. Some of the larger tumors are reduced in size, some significantly. This was unexpected because oral chemo is not typically recommended for osteosarcoma, but it is holding the cancer at bay for now. We'll take it. For all that you are holding and for all that you are letting go, we hold each of you in love. We take this next moment to share aloud the names of those you are carrying in your heart today. You may speak their names aloud or type it into the chat for those of you on Zoom. As we share these names, may the love of our community hold them all. We light 3 candles this morning. One for the joys and sorrows shared aloud, one for those shared in writing, and another for those held silently among us. For all of these, we now observe a minute of silence.
Did you pick up why that verse went there? Okay. The work of our church is sustained by the financial pledges we make, pledges which ensure that Des Moines will continue to have this religious voice championing love, compassion, and equality for all people. Every Sunday, we practice our value of generosity by passing the plate. In gratitude, we give, for in gratitude, we receive.
Our third reading is excerpts from the Letters of a Young Poet by Rilke. I'll try to say his name. Rainer Maria Rilke. You are so young, so much before all beginning, and I would like to beg you, dear sir, as well as I can, to have patience with everything unresolved in your heart, and to try to love the questions themselves as if they were locked rooms or books within a very foreign language. Don't search for the answers, which could not be given to you now because you would not be able to live them. And the point is to live everything. Live the questions now. Perhaps then, someday far in the future, you will gradually, without even noticing it, live your way into the answer. Perhaps you do carry within you the possibility of creating and forming as an especially blessed and pure way of living. Train yourself for that, but take whatever comes with great trust. And as long as it comes out of your will, out of some need of your innermost self, then take it upon yourself. And now we'll have the last round of questions. A couple of connected ones. Tell us about your kids.
Is this on, first of all? So I wanted to apologize. I didn't realize that the stole was sort of blocking the mics. If you're watching online, the audio, that was on me. Sorry. This is my second rodeo, which is not a lot of rodeos to know how to do. We have five kiddos, 23, 20, 13, 8, and 5? Did I? Okay. And 4 of them will be in Des Moines, and 1 is at school in Madison, and they are wonderful and delightful, and they are all their own selves, so I encourage you to get to know them. What's that? And one is, depending on the day, can beat me if I let them at basketball. So. Is that no? Okay, we disagree. All right, that's fine. Freedom for thought there. But I encourage you to get to know them. But I love them all, and they are beautiful.
Well, the connected question is, how do you see yourself growing, helping our children's RE program?
Yeah, well, if you collected all of the books written in the last 30 years on the changing nature of religious education and faith formation, yeah, I think you could fill this room. Yeah. I think you could. Because what a lot of us remember, if you're from the baby boomer generation, right, and you remember church in the 60s, and there were 180 kids at church, right, and you came and you went and you learned your Bible stories, or you learned in UU curriculum the traditions of, right, and then in the last 25 years or so, that's stopped being like the MO, like the modus operandi that like works for faith formation. And so we've already had some great conversations, and Faith is already doing great work on that. But I think a lot of times where churches struggle is they go, but it worked when I was there, right? That's how we've always done it, right? The 6 words that ruin an organization. And I don't mean that like in a negative sense, but I think that there are some congregations, particularly in our tradition, that are doing extraordinary work to reimagine our children and youth in conversation about what this looks like. We're talking about different kinds of services. We're talking about different kinds of education experiences. Also, what is the goal of being here as a kid on a Sunday? Is the goal to download content, which you can now do on a phone, which back 40 years ago, only Dick Tracy had that phone, right? So I don't know if you'll get that joke. Do you know who did? Okay, you do. Okay, good. Good, that's good. And so, and then it becomes sort of a 6th day of school that's in a different place with none of like your closest friends. So what do we want children to experience in church? Do we want belonging? Do we want knowledge? It's not an either or, but like what is it that we're after? These are deep, deep questions, and we already have an outstanding faith formation director. But I would like to say this, and this was when you're in search, you're paying attention to this as a minister. When a congregation says, we need to be more multi-generational, we need to see more kids here, we need to see all that, but I don't want to change anything about what we're doing. And it's not unlike those, like, I really need to change this habit in my life, but I'm not going to change anything in my life. You know, like, you see how these work against one another, right? So I could say something, or you could get up here and say something, but it's really a conversation that we all have on what it would mean to change some things, right? And I don't think anything in what we're doing in this hour is broken, so I don't mean that. But thinking about and, not an either or, but an and. What could another thing look like that centers what an 8-year-old could experience in an hour?
Okay. How do you see yourself getting involved at the Iowa State House and in social racial justice causes and issues in our wider community?
Yeah, that started before I started here. The week before I got here, I had already met with Connie Ryan from Interfaith Alliance. I've met with, now I can't remember any name when I'm looking at all of you. Capital City Pride, Wes Mullins. I met with Des Moines Pride Center, meeting with Amos. I've read all of these organizations that are already doing work. And then the Rainbow Faith Coalition, which is sort of a dance between Capital City Pride and Interfaith Alliance. It's ecumenical, not interfaith. So those projects are already going on, and me just meeting with them and saying, hi, I'm the new minister here. Put me in, coach. Where do you need me? Where do you need us to support the work that you're already doing? One Iowa met with Max for about an hour and a half and saying, where can I help? This is very important to me, and I think to many of us. Right? Where can we show up for this? So those conversations are ongoing, and they now have my number and my name and my email, and know that I can commit for me and say that I think the congregation will support a lot of the work that we're doing there. I didn't realize that you're only in state session from January to April.
Yes.
Ish?
Well,
is that right? Depends.
Depends.
But that's part of it for me, is going, well, I guess that's when I'm there. Did I get it right? Okay, good. See, I am settling in. And so one of the questions that, and this is, I don't want to turn the room very quickly here, but one of the questions that I invite the congregation to hold tenderly, what is your risk tolerance? Because I can get out there and I can say, with a moral authority, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong, right? And I can be very public about that. Not for me, but for the cause, for our values. But we have to sort out, are you comfortable with that? Right? I don't even have to finish the sentence. Your brain's already spiraling, right? Your body is reacting to that, right? That's to our other conversation about what is safety. Because currently, as it stands, this is an unsafe situation for some of our beloveds. What's already happening makes some of our beloveds unsafe. So it's not a question of, if we rock the boat, then someone will get wet. The boat is tipped underwater. Yeah. But if we rock it, we might get wet too. Okay. I thought we were going to get a pizza topping question, but I want to name that work's already going and will continue, and I'm not doing it alone. You did not call me to be your savior, right? We're doing this together. Okay.
That was it?
That's the questions.
What?
That was it for the questions.
Okay.
No, I was asking you. You said that was it.
I have a lot more.
Oh, keep it coming.
I have a lot more. No. Let's keep going. Okay.
I'll try and do a speed round. I'm looking at the clock.
Your thoughts on Carver? Is it Carver Policy Governance?
Carver.
Handwriting, please. On Carver Policy Governance.
I could give a 30-second answer or a 3-hour answer.
30 seconds.
It was all the rage 15 years ago.
Okay.
For congregations over about 300 or 400, which you were, right? The larger the system gets, the clearer you need the columns to be, right? So once you get to 500, 600, and 700 members, once we start meddling in one another's things, it's so Carver policy-based governance, the board sets the ends, the minister sets the means, okay? Hotchkiss says that only works in a very specific we're in the policy wonk part of the conversation. Everyone's favorite hour, okay? And Carver draws two triangles where we meet over the certain things. I have my first board meeting on Tuesday. What Hotchkiss says is when you move out of Carver, don't do it during the minister's first year. They don't even know what they're moving out of yet. So, okay, last-ish one?
I'm going to, which kind of ish?
No, go ahead.
I'm asking this because I don't quite understand the question, so
Okay.
you'll do both. Is auger a bad thing? A-U-G-E-R.
I'm reading that as anger.
Oh!
Yeah.
Who asked that question? Auger. Is anger a bad thing?
No.
Dear.
No. There's a whole space in sort of UU progressive space that says like we need to reclaim righteous anger, right? I touched on it a little bit with like what's currently being passed is immoral legislation, right? And to be like that's fine, right? And I don't think Thich Nhat Hanh would say that's fine. Like I don't think there is anything that would say that right. But what the anger looks like is the anger. Or is the anger, here I stand and I will not move from this, right? Is it a fueling, is it an uplifting for the flourishing of all, or is it petty, right? Because we've all done both. and only you often know if you've flipped from one to the other. Okay, last one.
I swear that was auger, but okay, the
No,
last
it did look, it looked like a U.
Okay. Let me see. To what higher power, this is sort of heavy, is that okay, or do you want a light one?
No, let's go big. Let's go big or go home. Yeah.
To what higher power do you feel connected?
That is a sermon. That's my way out. I'm breathing your air. Some parts of my cells still have water in them from Lake Michigan, where I drew my water 30 days ago. And some parts of my cells have water in it from where I draw my water in Raccoon River? Yeah, thank you. And apparently a lot of nitrates, right? I am part of us. And the longer you meditate on that, the deeper that gets. Right? There's no part of me that isn't also part of something else. There are trillions of microbes doing work as part of Team Steve. They're crawling along my skin. They're working and digesting my breakfast. I don't know where me ends and they begin. Right? So the deeper I think about how interwoven we are one to the next, how there was one bang and then all of us are just essentially the same recombination of the same things that have been stuck on this rock for 4 billion years, the harder it is for my anger to turn petty. The harder it is for me to be like, I'm me, and you're you, and I'm mad at you, right? Like it's harder for me to separate self from other. And I think you can read the Gospels that way. And I know you can read Thich Nhat Hanh that way. It's kind of one of his main points. And I think you can read Thomas Merton that way, and I think you can read a lot of things that way. So the higher power is the us. And then if you want to get beyond that, and the tree, and the car, and that building, right? That we are all interwoven and sharing the same air and sharing the same water. And I don't mean that just ecologically, but like at an atomic level. I have a good colleague who's like, I don't know if I believe in God the way people mean God, but I do believe in quantum entanglement. Yeah. We're going to stop there. That seems like a natural place to stop. What's next? Yeah.
Okay. Well, we're going to extinguish the chalice. Please join me in saying you didn't want another question, right?
No, we're good.
No.
Okay.
Please join me in saying the extinguishing chalice words in your order of service or on the screen. Remembering that the universe is so much larger than our ability to comprehend, let us go forth from this time together with the resolve to stop trying to reduce the incomprehensible to our own expectations, so that wonder, that sense of what is sacred, can find space to open up our minds and illumine our lives.
Beloveds, thank you for your good questions. Some were shared aloud. Many remain in that sacred space of your heart. Now, may we encourage one another in our ongoing search for truth and meaning. May we care for one another through the unexpected answers. And may we do all things in love. And so until we meet again, go in peace. We go out now, right? Are we all done?
Soul of truth, eternal goodness, sojourn with us as we part. Fill our minds with high endeavor. Keep us just and pure.